Do you get sweaty palms, dry mouth, or want to gnaw off your left hand when you get an invitation to a party or a networking event? I know I do, all the time. It's called social anxiety. Let's chat about it. Hello, welcome to Wine and Wisdom with a Feather. That's me, Stacy. Let's enjoy a sip of wine and have a little chat about this crazy thing called social anxiety. So what exactly is it? Social anxiety is when a person freaks out at the prospect of being put on the spot in a public or unfamiliar setting, having to make conversation, be judged by their appearance, lack confidence, or feel pressure to make any impression at all. These are all symptoms of social anxiety. Recognize any of the signs? Sweaty palms, dry tongue, nausea, an absolute terror at the thought of having to perform in a public setting, be it talking to multiple strangers, presenting something, or actually performing for an audience. Things that aren't normally you coming out of your mouth at random times. Oh my God. People often tell you that you are just shy and you'll feel fine once you get there. But that doesn't change a thing. So, what can you do about it? You might not know this about me, but I have extreme social anxiety. Those who are just getting to know me are always surprised by this. I'm outgoing, well-versed in all walks of life to chat up anyone. I'm a former opera singer who sang across the globe for years, an actor, a teacher, a manager, and now in the public eye again as a psychic intuitive and empowerment coach. I could go on. Guess what? I have to fake it till I make it, more often than not. I've had it since I was a kid. When I moved schools at 8, it really amped up. Having to put myself out there to make new friends was difficult. As a teenager, I forcibly put myself in situations where I had to make conversation with strangers. I did this in line at the grocery store in order to practice talking. I was terrified I'd say something stupid or be ignored or judged. In my 20s, I had no problems making friends, but I had a lot of trouble with parties or social outings where there were more than 2 or 3 people involved. In my performing days, I could never figure out why I wanted to connect through music so badly with an audience, but would rather gnaw off a body part than have to get out there to audition or step out on stage and sing that first note. At 26, I had a nervous breakdown over other issues in my world. And I discovered that among other things, I had an anxiety disorder, and that made me prone to anxiety and panic attacks. Having no idea what either of these were, I asked the doc. His explanation blew me away. The shortness of breath, cold sweats, racing mind, nausea, blurry vision, fight or flight mode, and complete avoidance of social situations that weren't predictably comfortable. These are things that I went through on a daily basis. They weren't normal. Not everyone experienced life in this way. Mind blown. Well, I'm older now, more self-aware of my situation, and I've done a lot of work on myself. And I still find myself running into circumstances where I need to put myself out there. The famous one is networking. Being in business for myself means that it's up to me to get myself out there. No one can pass on my message and what I can do for people better than I can. And yet, the idea of going to a networking group or an event makes me throw up in my mouth just a little bit. I can tell myself I can do it, and I have every intention of going. But when the time comes, I find I have zero energy, and I come up with every excuse in the book to not go. Then I sit at home completely relieved to not be there, and guilty as hell that I gave my word and I didn't go. And of course, that means I inevitably let down a kind stranger or a caring friend who just wanted to introduce me to some amazing people. The shame is maddening. So, how do I cope? How do I manage to get up every day and show up for myself and others in a very public profession? Here are some words of wisdom, these tools that I've discovered and learned and applied over the years that may help you out. Number 1, wing woman or a wing man. I don't go anywhere without a sidekick anymore. This is a person who understands your needs and helps you to make conversation and not feel alone in a room full of strangers, or even a room with people that you do know. Sometimes it really just helps to know that there's someone there for you. 2, knowing where you're going and knowing the environment you're entering into so that you can prepare and have some strategy. This is a big one for me. I love live music, but going into concert venues can be very stressful for me. So I get excited by preparing myself for the experience a couple of days before it happens. I visualize what an amazing time I'm going to have, how much I'm enjoying the music, and how calm I am in my own skin and my own energy. By doing this, I am visualizing my best possible outcome. Then I'm really excited about the event and I don't get overwhelmed when I'm actually there. Sounds crazy, but it really works. 3, always having an exit strategy and a trusted wing person who looks out for you and follows your lead. This goes hand in hand with tip 1. When you have a plan in place for how long you're going to stay, and you have a person with you that knows the plan and is trustworthy enough to follow your lead and listen to your signals, you're in it to win it. Sometimes I even purposely plan something else that I need to attend immediately after the first event. That means I absolutely have to leave, and I can bow out gracefully as others understand obligations. 4, having a job or task to focus on gives you busy work and allows you to socialize in a less pressured way. In my 20s, my friend group was very social, always planning group events, so I took on the task of providing food. That gave me an excuse to be dealing with food in the kitchen, which gave me a break from socializing. But I was also where everybody else wanted to be, so I was able to feel a part of without the pressure of having to make conversation all the time. I really don't go anywhere these days without assigning myself a task. Number 5, sometimes accepting that it's not something you can participate in, but speaking and owning that truth with those you love so they are prepared for your choice and or your absence. It's stressful letting people down because you are too overwhelmed by fear to be able to show up for those you love, including yourself. If I can't show up for myself, how can I realistically show up for others? So set yourself up for success. If your loved ones truly do love you, they will understand and accept that this is a challenge for you. Be honest about where you're at. If you feel you can't attend an event that is important to them, discuss it with them and come up with an alternative solution. Here's a great example of how I do that in my life. I absolutely hate going to weddings, showers, and major celebrations. They stress me out so much. So when those that I'm close to have an event like this, and I really don't feel that I can go, I come up with a way to honor them and spend time honoring their joy in a more private way. With my stepdaughters, I always like coming up with new and exciting and unique experiences that we can share together at a different date and time. We can celebrate in a more private, less intense way, and we are creating new memories in the process that are more meaningful. This makes it more fun and less stressful for all involved. They don't have to worry about me feeling uncomfortable at their event, and I don't have to feel guilty about not wanting to be there. Honesty is the best policy here. Your peeps may be disappointed, but in the end, they will understand. Number 6. Small talk prep. I always have a list of talking points. So, how do you know Joe? Isn't this a beautiful venue? Do you know who did the catering for this? The food is amazing. And the real secret is that people always enjoy talking about themselves. So it's always good to have a few questions that will get the other person talking so you don't have to right away. That's a beautiful dress. It's so unique. Where did you find it? And the ever classic, so what do you do? Cheesy perhaps, a little predictable perhaps, but it works every time. Final thoughts. If you are like me and have this thing called social anxiety, it doesn't have to take you out of the game. Learn your trigger points and work around them. Enlist a support system to help you through, and understand that this isn't because you are broken or antisocial or uncaring. You have some unhealed wounds around the fear of failure, judgment, rejection, or success that needs some air. Knowledge is power. When you know yourself and why you make the choices you do, you are that much closer to being able to conquer these fears one by one. Be patient with yourself and use me as an example. If I can get through it, anyone can. I am a tough nut to crack. Loved sharing this info with you guys. Hope you found it helpful. Today I was enjoying a glass of Andes Bornada 2019. Loving this wine. As always, I appreciate you liking, subscribing, and sharing my videos. If you want to know more about me, check out the links below to my website, theblackfeatherintuitive.com. And keep your eyes peeled for our next Wine and Wisdom with the Feather. Thanks for watching. Take care.